Have you ever caught yourself thinking that you're doing everything right with money? You plan, you think, you save, you calculate, you control, and yet, somehow, money still slips through your fingers. Sometimes it shows up as small things, sometimes as sudden expenses, and sometimes as the feeling that no matter how much you earn, it's never quite enough. And if right now you're thinking, maybe I just don't earn enough yet, or I need to understand finances better, stay with me. Because today I'm going to talk about the most common money mistake, the one almost no one notices, and it has nothing to do with numbers, investing, or income level. Watch this video until the end, and you'll understand why money doesn't stay, even if you're smart and conscious, how your inner state quietly blocks your financial flow, and what needs to change not someday, but now. Most people believe money problems come from the outside, the economy, the market, the crisis, circumstances, but almost no one looks inside themselves. And that's exactly where the root is. There is one mistake millions of people make every single day, and it sounds very innocent, so innocent that it's not even considered a mistake. It starts with phrases like, just a little more. When things become more stable, when I earn more, then I'll allow myself. At first glance, this seems logical, reasonable, mature, responsible. But in that exact moment, a mechanism is activated that slowly but consistently pushes money away. Because money is not just a resource, it is a reflection of your inner state. If inside you there is constant waiting, if you live in the mode of not yet, if you keep postponing life for later, money reads this as a signal. There is no space here, there is no trust here. Everything is contracted, and money doesn't flow where there is contraction. And money doesn't flow where there is contraction. It's important to understand one thing. This is the key to the entire video. Money does not punish you. It simply doesn't go where a person lives in waiting, fear, and inner later. You can be very intelligent, very conscious, very spiritual. But if inside you're still postponing life, your financial flow will remain unstable. And the most dangerous part is this. People don't even realize what exactly they're doing wrong. They think, I just need more control. I need to be even more careful. I should wait for the right moment. But in reality, they simply haven't given themselves permission to live now. In the next parts of this video, I'll show you how this mistake is formed, why awareness doesn't always work in the moment, and how to begin shifting this state without extreme steps or magical thinking. For now, write this phrase in the comments, a phrase that creates an inner shift. In the next parts of this video, I'll show you how this mistake is formed, why awareness doesn't always work in the moment, and how to begin shifting this state without extreme steps or magical thinking. For now, write this phrase in the comments, a phrase that creates an inner shift. Money doesn't leave because of mistakes. It leaves because of an inner I can't have more. There is one truth that people rarely accept at first. Money almost never leaves because of wrong decisions. It leaves because of an internal block. A person can be smart, talented, hardworking, and still repeatedly hit the same financial ceiling. Why? Because money only flows up to the level that a person internally allows. Money isn't lost. It returns to the allowed level. If inside there is a belief, I already have enough. It's too early for me. I don't deserve more yet. Money may come occasionally, but it won't stay. Income. Not your potential, but your permission. It's not about what you could earn. It's about what you allow yourself to have without inner tension. The income ceiling isn't formed in your wallet. It's formed in your psyche. At some point in life, a person makes an unspoken decision. This amount is safe. This amount is enough. Anything beyond this is dangerous, shameful, or scary. This decision is rarely conscious. Most often, it comes from childhood experiences, family patterns, pain, or losses. For example, the family judged wealthy people. Money was associated with conflicts. Success brought punishment or envy. One had to shrink to survive. And the psyche concludes, better not to stand out, better less, but safe. From that moment, a financial ceiling is formed. When a person approaches this level, doubts arise, decisions are postponed, illogical spending occurs, opportunities are lost, growth feels undervalued, not because they are weak, but because their system protects the familiar identity. Money above this ceiling is perceived as a threat to relationships, self-image, safety, or love, and the flow automatically slows down. Why a person unconsciously stops the flow? The most important thing here is to understand. A person doesn't choose to block money, it's their nervous system that does it. When money exceeds the familiar amount, internal signals activate: anxiety, tension, a feeling of "I don't belong here," fear of losing control, and the psyche seeks a way to return everything to a familiar state. That's why phrases appear. It's too early for me. I'm not ready yet. Now is not the right time. In reality, it's not about time. It's about internal mismatch, as long as the feeling lives inside. If there's more, I won't handle it. Money cannot stay. The key insight: money doesn't leave because you made a mistake. It leaves because you haven't allowed yourself to live at this level yet. And once that permission appears, the flow stops being a struggle and becomes a natural movement. Have you ever noticed that sometimes money comes easily and other times it feels like there's an invisible barrier blocking everything? Many people think the reason is mistakes or bad decisions, but in reality, money doesn't leave because of what we do wrong. The true block is inside us, in our attitude toward ourselves and the world. The first key point: the flow of money is created by an inner permission. When a person sincerely believes, "I am worthy of success. I can receive money. I am allowed to live in abundance," the energy of finances begins to flow freely. But as soon as a doubt arises, "It's too early for me. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve this," the flow instantly contracts. It's like a waterfall. If the internal valves are closed, the water won't flow, and the longer we keep this inner block, the harder it becomes to open up to new opportunities. I remember a story from my life. A friend, let's call her Laura, got a promotion that would nearly double her income. She was happy, but at the same time, she doubted herself. Can I handle such a sum? What if I don't deserve this money? Within a month, she noticed that major clients were going to other specialists, and new opportunities seemed to slip away. Only when Laura acknowledged her fears and accepted, "I deserve this income. It's okay for me to receive more," the flow opened again, and money began coming effortlessly. The second key point: people often block the flow of money unconsciously. This shows up in habits: delaying decisions, fearing to ask for a raise, hesitating with investments or projects. Even when someone knows the right step, inner fear can paralyze them and hold them back. This shows in small daily choices: not taking an order, not signing a contract, not investing in growth. Every time you choose fear over confidence, the flow slows down a little. It's important to understand: money loves those who act quickly, confidently, and without doubt. This doesn't mean without analysis, but it means without inner struggle or guilt. Here, a combination of psychological and esoteric principles works. Energy flows where it's welcomed, where there's no resistance. Resistance comes from old patterns, childhood traumas, upbringing, social limitations. And until these internal barriers are removed, money will come only fragmentarily, temporarily, and with difficulty. Here's a simple practice to start with. Every day, write down 5 affirmations about money in the present tense. I am worthy of financial abundance. I attract money easily. My income grows every day. Write these phrases from the heart. Visualize the flow of money like light passing through you. Over time, your subconscious will stop blocking the flow, and the energy of money will begin to move freely. Remember, money doesn't punish. It simply doesn't go where there is inner chaos. If you notice opportunities slipping away, pay attention to your inner state. Ask yourself, do I allow myself to receive? Am I confident in my worth? When you answer honestly, you'll see reality begin to change. Write in the comments, I accept and love money. Feel how these words start to shift your inner state and open the flow of new opportunities. Many people think that money disappears because of external mistakes, a bad investment, a failed deal, or an impulsive purchase. But the real reason is always inside us. It is connected to an internal stop signal that we place for ourselves. It can be a feeling of unworthiness, a habit of fearing success, or a subconscious belief, it's too early for me. I'm not ready. I don't deserve it. Every time these thoughts arise, the flow of money decreases, like water hitting a closed valve. Imagine yourself standing in front of a river. If your hands are tense, you try to hold the water back. It splashes and hits your palms. But if you open your hands and trust the current, the water flows naturally where it is meant to go. The energy of money works the same way. It flows where there is readiness and inner acceptance. I want to share a story that helps feel this. My acquaintance, let's call her Emily, received an offer to lead a large project. The money and opportunities were enormous, but inside her arose a sense of fear. What if I fail? What if I can't meet expectations? During the first few weeks after the offer, she postponed decisions, found excuses, and compared herself to colleagues. As a result, some contracts went to others, and the flow of income practically froze. But as soon as Emily became aware of her fears and decided, I deserve this, I am ready for this, the energy of the money flow immediately activated. New clients started coming, offers increased, and even previously lost opportunities returned, but in a much more favorable form. It is important to understand that internal blocks develop over years. Childhood traumas, parental beliefs, social limitations. For example, a phrase from childhood like, money doesn't grow on trees, or don't spend so much you don't deserve it, can live in the subconscious for decades, forming an income ceiling that a person imposes on themselves, and the longer we live with these beliefs, the stronger their influence on our financial state. A simple practice to recognize internal blocks is to observe your reactions to money and financial opportunities. Do you count every dollar, hesitate to ask for more, or delay investments? These are signs that an old pattern inside is blocking the flow. The next step is to consciously change these reactions. With each conscious action, when you allow yourself to receive, trust, and accept, the flow of energy strengthens and old limitations dissolve. Remember, money loves those who are confident, decisive, and believe in themselves 100%. This doesn't mean acting without analysis, but it does mean acting without inner resistance or a sense of unworthiness. The energy you create inside always returns in the form of opportunities, income, and inspiration. In the comments, write, I allow money to flow to me freely. Feel how these words change your inner mindset and open the flow of new financial opportunities. It's very important to understand that money doesn't come to those who doubt themselves or fear the responsibility of their decisions. Money is energy, and it senses a person's readiness to receive it. If there is chaos, fear, or uncertainty inside, the flow stops, and no external effort will help. People often think, if I work more, earn more, everything will fall into place. But in reality, the problem isn't in the effort. It's in the inner state. Imagine a person standing in front of a door with a huge treasure chest. If they are afraid to open the door, doubting that they deserve the wealth, the chest remains closed. But the moment they take a step, trust themselves, and dare to open it, everything becomes accessible. That's why working on your inner state, beliefs, and sense of self-worth is so important. I want to share a story that illustrates this well. My acquaintance, let's call her Catherine, had the opportunity to invest in a very promising project. Logically, everything was perfect. Favorable conditions, reliable partners, higher than average returns. But inside, Catherine had doubts. What if I make a mistake? What if I can't handle it? I don't deserve this. For the first few days, she postponed her decision, overanalyzed every point, doubted herself, and found excuses not to act. The result was predictable. The first investors left, and the opportunity slipped away. Only when Catherine became aware of her internal blocks and said to herself, I am ready to receive, I deserve this, I can handle it, did the energy of the situation change. Soon, new partners and offers appeared, and even the opportunities she had missed returned in an improved form. This experience showed her that the flow of money depends not on external conditions, but on inner alignment with oneself. Here's a simple way to check yourself. Notice how you react to financial opportunities. Are you afraid to ask for a raise? Do you set limits for yourself without a clear reason? Do you postpone investments or large purchases even when they are beneficial? These are signals of an internal blocker stopping the flow. When a person learns to notice these blocks and gently adjust them, the flow of money begins to move naturally. This doesn't mean spending or investing recklessly. It means acting with confidence, decisiveness, and a sense of your own value. Money always feels your inner state. It is ready to flow where there is alignment, confidence, and openness. In the comments, write, I accept money with gratitude and openness. Feel how these words create inner harmony and open the flow of financial energy. It's very important to understand that the main reason money doesn't come isn't due to external mistakes or circumstances, but due to our internal beliefs and fears. We carry them from childhood. I can't have more. I'm not worthy. It's too early for me. If I take too much, something bad will happen. These beliefs become an invisible income ceiling that we create ourselves, often without realizing it. Imagine a stream of water. If you place a stone in its path, the water slows down, spills over, sometimes flows sideways. Money works the same way. Your inner stones, fears, doubts, scarcity mindset slow down the financial flow. People often try to fix this externally, taking more work, looking for new clients, buying something that will bring money. But it doesn't work because the source of the blockage is within. Let me tell a story that illustrates this perfectly. My acquaintance, let's call him James, had the opportunity to buy a franchise of a successful business. On paper, everything was perfect. A stable market, a proven model, guaranteed demand. But James felt a strange inner resistance. What if I can't handle it? What if it leads to losses? Maybe it's too early for me. He postponed the decision, checked the data over and over, doubted himself, and looked for excuses. In the end, the first investors left and the opportunity was lost. Only when James started working on his beliefs and told himself, I'm ready, I'm worthy, I can do this, the energy around him changed. New offers appeared, partners came, and some opportunities that seemed lost returned in an improved form. He realized that money comes where there is inner agreement, readiness, and self-belief. To learn to notice your internal blocks, ask yourself, when a financial opportunity comes, what do I feel? Is there fear, doubt, a sense of, I can't? Often, people unconsciously limit the flow of money by delaying action, being afraid to ask, or worrying that they won't succeed. This is exactly where awareness matters. Practice. Each time you face a financial decision, pause and ask yourself, what inside me is blocking this flow? What belief is behind my doubt? Gradually, noticing and correcting these blocks, you open the path for financial energy. In the comments, write, I am open to abundance. I trust the flow of money. Feel how these words harmonize your inner state and help the energy flow freely. Very often, people think that financial difficulties are only due to mistakes, poor decisions, or external circumstances. But in reality, the main barrier to the flow of money forms inside us, and its roots go back to childhood. When we are small, we observe how adults react to money, to success, to risk. We hear phrases like, "Don't spend too much," "Money corrupts people," "We can't afford this." These simple words become internal beliefs that accumulate and create an invisible income ceiling. The income ceiling is not a number in your bank account, it is an inner feeling. I can have this much but more. No way. A person sets a limit for themselves, even if externally the possibilities are unlimited. And importantly, this ceiling works unnoticed. We may earn more, see opportunities, but at the right moment, doubt, fear, or excuse appears, and the flow of money stops. For example, a woman I know, let's call her Emily, always dreamed of starting her own small business. She was talented, energetic, and had good connections. But in her childhood, her parents often discussed financial difficulties and said that rich people are greedy and selfish. These words stayed in Emily's subconscious. When she finally had the chance to invest in a project, an old belief triggered inside. I don't deserve a high income. Instead of acting decisively, she hesitated, postponed steps, and made up reasons not to start. In the end, the project went to someone else. The money could have come, but the inner barrier stopped the flow. This mechanism works differently for everyone. Some are afraid to ask for a raise, some hesitate to invest, some reject opportunities that seem risky. It's important to understand these blocks have nothing to do with external reality. They live inside us and feed on old fears, insecurity, and a habit of limitation. How to work with this? First, you need to become aware of your beliefs. Remember what was said about money in your family, which phrases were repeated in childhood, and what emotions they caused. Then observe yourself. When a financial opportunity arises, what do you feel? Fear, doubt, procrastination. This is the signal of an inner block. The second step is to replace old beliefs with new ones. For example, instead of "I can't have more," tell yourself, "I am worthy of financial abundance." It is important to repeat this daily until it becomes part of your inner dialogue. The third step is to act. Even small steps toward opportunities create energy and momentum. Money loves the decisive, the brave, and those willing to take responsibility for their actions. In the comments, write, "I open the flow of financial abundance and believe in my possibilities." These are not just words. They are a signal to your subconscious that you are ready to change internal limitations. The next key point is that money loves confident and bold people. And it's not just about seeming decisive or speaking beautifully about your goals. It's about inner confidence, about believing in yourself and your abilities 100%. When a person doubts, hesitates, or procrastinates, the flow of money slows down. It goes to those who act quickly, who are not afraid to take responsibility for their choices and their consequences. This applies to any financial opportunity, promotions, investments, launching a project, or negotiating a deal. Once I observed my friend, let's call her Sarah. Sarah was a talented designer and had an opportunity to take on a major project for an international client. She hesitated. What if I can't handle it? What if the client is dissatisfied? Every day she postponed the call, checked every word in her email, rewrote the budget. Within a week, the project was offered to another professional and the client chose them. The money and opportunity didn't go to Sarah because she wasn't capable. It was because she doubted herself and didn't act decisively. Money feels this energy. It's not measured by words or clothing, but by your body, your tone of voice, your speed in making decisions. People who are confident don't waste time on doubts. Even if fear is present inside, they act despite it. This is what creates the flow. It's also important to note, confidence doesn't mean aggression or imposing your will on others. A confident person is aware of their capabilities and risks, but acts with clarity and calm. They make decisions quickly because they know that mistakes are experience, not a sentence. They listen to intuition, but don't get stuck in overanalyzing or fear. Practice. When facing a financial decision, pause and check in with yourself. What do you feel? Are you acting decisively or postponing? Try taking a small step that affirms your confidence. For example, send an email to a client even if you're not sure the proposal is perfect. This exercise trains the flow of confidence, and with it comes the energy of money. Another important point is belief in your own abilities. A person who values themselves and their skills is not afraid to take responsibility for money. They know, if I'm ready to act and learn from experience, money will come and flow again. Someone who doubts their own worth subconsciously blocks any opportunity, even if outwardly it seems they are doing everything right. In the comments, write, "I believe in my abilities and open the flow of financial confidence." These are not just words. They are a signal to your subconscious that you are ready to receive money and use it in harmony with yourself. There is another reason why the flow of money stops, even when a person is intelligent, hardworking, and doing everything right. It's an internal ceiling, and it's formed not by logic, but by emotion. A person may say, "I want more money," but inside there is a very different feeling. "I already have enough. It's too early for me. If I have more, I'll lose something. I'll become a bad person." And money responds to that inner message. An income ceiling doesn't appear when opportunities run out. It appears when the nervous system decides that growth is unsafe. For some people, it's unsafe to earn more than their parents. For others, it's unsafe to stand out among friends. For some, it's unsafe to move beyond a familiar level, because that would mean acknowledging their own power and taking responsibility for it. Very often, this ceiling forms in childhood. When a child grows up seeing that money equals conflict, tension, exhaustion, or fear, or when they are praised for being modest, patient, and able to get by with little. As adults, these people may earn well, but the moment they approach a new level, an invisible stop valve turns on. Strange things begin to happen. Deals fall apart, unexpected expenses appear, clients disappear, apathy or sudden burnout sets in. This is not punishment. It's not bad luck or bad karma. It's an internal prohibition saying, "You're not allowed to go further." The most dangerous part of this mechanism is that people sincerely don't realize they're stopping themselves. They look for reasons outside, the market, the economy, other people, circumstances. But the real cause is inside, an old decision that once helped them survive and now prevents them from living fully. Money flow doesn't begin when you try harder. It begins when you allow yourself more than you used to. When you allow yourself to be visible, to be successful, to earn more than feels familiar, to stop apologizing for your growth. And here is an honest question worth asking yourself. Where am I stopping myself? Without even noticing it, write in the comments, "I allow myself more than before." If you feel resistance as you write it, that means you've touched something real. It's important to understand one key thing: a financial ceiling cannot be broken by force. It can only be expanded. When a person tries to jump over their inner limit through pressure, effort, or comparison with others, the nervous system reads it as a threat, and it activates protection. That's why instead of growth, people experience anxiety, self-sabotage, procrastination, sudden loss of energy. Not because you're weak, but because your body doesn't believe that what's ahead is safe. Real change never starts with money. It starts with a sense of permission. The first step is noticing where you tighten up. Pay attention to conversations about larger sums of money, moments when someone around you earns more, opportunities to move to a new level. What happens inside your body? Tension? Constriction? The urge to step back? Or a thought like, "This isn't for me"? That is your entry point. The second step is not convincing yourself. It's expanding your capacity, not "I deserve millions," but I can calmly handle 10% more. I can receive slightly more than yesterday. I can be visible one step more. Money doesn't come to those who want a lot. It comes to those who can hold more without inner conflict. The third step is revisiting your identity. Very often, a person unconsciously holds on to roles like, I'm simple. I'm not that kind of person. People in my family don't live like that. And if money threatens that identity, it will be rejected. Growth always requires letting go of an old version of yourself, even if the new version is objectively better. And here it's important to ask yourself honestly, who am I afraid of becoming if I have more money? Cold, lonely, misunderstood, separated from my loved ones. Until these fears are seen, money will stay at a safe distance. And the final point, money flows where there is inner agreement. Not struggle, not proof, not chasing, but a calm feeling. I can live with this. If you want, in the next block we'll explore how money senses your state faster than your words, and why it's your inner state, not your actions, that opens or blocks the flow. And for now, write in the comments, I expand my inner limit step by step. Sometimes that alone is enough for something inside to begin shifting. Sometimes that alone is enough for something inside to begin shifting. And if we bring everything we've talked about together, one thing becomes clear. Money is neither a reward nor a punishment. It is a reflection of your inner order. Money doesn't disappear because of one mistake, and it doesn't arrive because of one right decision. It responds to the state you live in every single day, to what you allow yourself internally, to where there is inner agreement and where there is a hidden restriction, to whether you're ready not just to want more, but to hold more, without fear, without self-judgment, without inner conflict. We explored how an internal ceiling is formed, why a person can be intelligent, hardworking, talented, and still hit the same invisible limit again and again. Why the money flow stops not outside, but inside, in old decisions once made for survival, not for living. And the most important thing, this ceiling is not meant to be broken. It is meant to be expanded through awareness, through honesty with yourself, through small but real inner shifts. When you stop proving, when you stop rushing, when you stop punishing yourself for wanting more, the flow begins to move on its own, not because you became better, but because you stopped forbidding yourself. And if you take just one idea from this video, let it be this. Money flows where there is enough inner space, space without chaos, without fear of being yourself, without the feeling that growth must be paid for with pain. Write in the comments, I allow myself more than before, and notice what you feel as you write it. Sometimes that alone is enough for something inside to begin shifting, not only in finances, but in life as a whole. If this video resonated with you, stay here. In the next videos, we'll go even deeper into the hidden mistakes people make with money, decisions, and life, often without realizing it. You are not broken. You've simply been ready for the next level for a long time.